Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go over units of measurement in music. Now that we have an idea of how to find which note is which in the piano on Soundtrap, I want to talk to you about how to find our units of measurement so we can tell the distance between notes and start to make a little more sense of this. Our first unit of measurement is for pitch, so measuring the distance between notes. So you can see here, this is our C note, another C note here. So the next possible note up is this, right? That is the smallest unit of measurement, is one note to the next. And we call that a half step. So if I keep doing that up the scale, I can see that here is another half step, again, because there's no note in between. It's just one note to the next possible note. Our next unit of measurement is called the whole step. So you might be able to guess that actually if you put two half steps together, you get a whole step. So a half step plus a half step would equal a whole step. That would be a whole step, another whole step, and then from here we would again two half steps together, a whole step, and so forth. We're going to use those units of measurement to describe our first melodic common pattern, which is the major scale. You have probably heard this before in some way, but it sounds like this. Okay. That's really just a musical equation of whole steps and half steps. And what makes it easier is that it's mostly whole steps. We can see that whole step here, whole step. This is our first half step, so that's one of two half steps. Another whole step, another whole step, another whole step. At the top, we have our second half step. What also makes this easier is that is just going from C to C, all the white keys. That is our major scale. So if we were to give each note in the scale a number, we would find that there's always a half step between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. If I start on a different key and play that same equation, it's going to sound sort of the same, just a little bit higher or lower. I'm leaving that in. Okay, so I hit some wrong notes. I'm just gonna leave that in because that's part of making music. I'm actually using a small keyboard on the side and the keys are a little small, so that's my excuse. But point being, that is a major scale. That's how you find it on the piano. When we're doing a writing exercise, you don't need to know all of the scales. You can really just stick to playing in C major for now. If you're on mobile or on a tablet, the next part you will not be able to do. So for everyone who's using the computer, we're going to use the piano roll here so we can actually write notes into the program like we did with the step sequencer. So right now it's hard to tell what's what. It's just a lot of boxes. So to figure out how big a bar is, I'm going to click right here. So now I can see this is the length of a bar. I'm going to zoom in until it gets a little bit closer. And that seems like a good distance. So I can see also that there are some slightly darker gray lines here. If I move the mouse, you can see there's also one here. And if you were to count, you would actually see in between these are 16 blocks. So this is essentially like a step sequencer for every single note on the piano. Over here we have our piano keys. It's the same as how they were on the bottom of the screen. They're just going in a different direction. And if we click the notes, it works just like a step sequencer. We can also see our whole step and half step and scale patterns pretty easily this way. So you can see if I drag this note out, this next possible move up is going to be my half step. There's my whole step. And you can even see that these notes are slightly lighter. And there I have the first 4 notes of the major scale. So that's how we find our units of measurement in the piano and the piano roll in Soundtrap.